So I'm here in Namuwongo village where I've been doing ethnographic research for the last 3-4 years. I have a key informant, Annette, that I've come to see, and we're going to talk about what we found in the research that we've been doing and what life is like living here in Namuwongo. When we started this research here in Namuwongo, we found that people were using antibiotics, and the ones that they were using more frequently was metronidazole, and they were using it for diarrhea. It's one of the common conditions that they have here in this area. So I'm going to be talking to Annette to give us her experience living here, working as a community health worker, as well as a resident, and then we'll have a walk around to sort of understand what the situation is like. She's going to show us the antibiotics that people commonly use here, and then tell us a little bit more about what conditions they used to treat with these antibiotics.
Bakozesa nnyo no flagile. Lino eddagala likola nnyo mu kuddukana eno ewaffe. Ne bw'oba olumu olubuto ono flagile. Kasita oba olumu olubuto eno ewaffe olukulumamu bw'odduka kiriniki lye bakuwa. Ne lino ne zino sirapu.
Bakozesa kujjanjaba ki?
Lino eddagala lino balikozesa ku kifuba. Amoxylin ono. Akolola bamumuwa nnyo oluusi n'abamu nga balwadde balina HIV. Lino balikozesa omukyala ng'agenze ewantu ewakyafu. Lino likozesebwa ku mabwa. Lino ekiddukano. Zino sirapu zikozesebwa ku baana okukolola. Ezo endwadde ze zisinga ennyo okwetanira mu bantu baffe wano.
Naye nga gano wali ogalabyeko wano, gano amadagala. Gano gusinga okulaba.
Kale gano nagalabako nga bwe ndi VHT, naye eddagala lye basinga okukozesa lye lino. Oluzzi lwaffe luno amazzi gaali gajja bulungi nnyo, naye emidumu gyatuusa ekiseera ne gizibikira. Emidumu gino esatu kati tulina omudumu gumu abantu gwe bakozesa. Ogwokubiri guleeta obuzzi butono, guno ogwokusatu gwo tegukyaleetera ddala. Tetumanyi kuva ku kyamazzi agasinga galina okujja mu midumu ga branchi nga gafulumira eno ebweru. Kati gakyasobola kujja ku midumu kuli. Abantu babonaabona okima amazzi n'ekiseera kituuka ng'enkuba etonnya ennyingi n'ebeera ng'amazzi gajja nga ga brown.
Annette has been explaining the water problem here in Namuwongo is that the well is blocked, the spring well. They only have one of the pipes that is working, and even then when it's working, the water is discolored when it rains, and so that tells us there's quite a bit of contamination here, and this contributes to the rates of infection around here, like with diarrhea especially, because of the unclean water that is being used here. That is acquired, and this is one of the main water sources within this village. So I'm here at one of the public toilets in Namuwongo, as we previously talked about. And there's one here in my background. There are a few of those scattered around the area, but obviously they are not many enough, but they are also not free. People have to pay for them. And when they are not able to pay for them, they sometimes resort to informal toileting habits, maybe using the drainage. So I'm here to talk to one of the takers, the caretakers. Innocent is going to explain to us what exactly happens here, what of the challenges he faces, and what the costs are for running this kind of facility in this area.
Kitusaba sente nyingi naye luli kwali tusasula 15 ayina kuzino tusasula 22.
Ate kati abasasula okugikozesa bo basasula mmeka?
nsasula nusu 2 n'abaana bato babwereere.
Buli lwajja okugikozesa ezo zaabasasula. Kakati mu kulabako engeri gy'obadde wano mu Namuwongo mu kitundu kino, olowooza nti buli omu aba asobola okusasula ssente ezo okujja okukozesa toyi?
Bandibadde nga bayongezako bbeeyi naye ennaku zino ssente tezikyalabika nga covid yayonoona ebintu. Nga covid teyajja bandiyongeza bbeeyi.
Naye kati abo batasobola kusasula bo bakola batya?
Abatasobola kusasula waliwo bajja naye beewura. Bamu ne bansasula, abalala ne bagaana kunsasula kubanga za kusasula. N'abalala walimu bataba mu buveera ne basitula eri mu myala.
Like Innocent has mentioned, one of the challenges here is the informal toileting that comes up when people are unable to afford the toilet facilities. And so obviously the infection rate is very high. People often have diseases like diarrhea. Like we found out when we did our survey initially, diarrhea was one of the most common illnesses here. And this is really evidenced by the toilet facilities that are in the places that are not even enough for the people, and yet they have to pay for them. I'm here at the Namuwongo channel, which is another critical point here in the informal settlement. This channel floods when it rains, especially in the rainy season. It floods and then it flows back into people's houses. On a rainy season, you can find people scooping water out of their houses to try and save their property. But also there's a lot of infection that comes from this water. People throw rubbish here. Everything from the city goes into this channel as it goes into the Lake Victoria. So there's a lot of infection that comes here, and even with the informal toileting that we saw earlier on, people actually throw everything in this channel, which then gets back into people's houses, causing a lot of infection in the community. So what we have seen here today in Kayendeke sort of represents the daily life of somebody living in Namuwongo. There's scarcity of toilets, and yet it has to be paid for. People cannot afford it all the time. Besides, even if they could, the toilets are closed off at a certain time and opened at a certain time. So informal toileting is inevitable. People are going to use polythene bags, use the drainage. And even with the Namuwongo channel, with the backflow of the water when it rains, ending up in people's houses means there's a lot of infection going on. And even with the contamination with the water, still there's a lot of infection. So antibiotics have become a part of everyday life here. It's inevitable to use them because of the situation in which they live. They just can't afford to not have them. They have them stored in their houses. They keep buying them for whatever infection they get. So it has just become inevitable that they continue to use antibiotics just to cope with the situation in which they live.